4, I am Omotayo Alo. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has charged civil society organizations to contribute to the rebuilding, reconstruction, reconciliation and resettlement of victims of insurgency in the Northeast. Osinbajo gave the talks at the Northeast Humanitarian Multi-Stakeholder Engagement Meeting in Maiduguri, Borno State. He said that the situation in the region would have been worse without the intervention of the CSOs and donor partners. He affirmed that civil society groups, funding partners, regional and international partners have given up their time, resources and even lives in some cases and deserve to be commended. Also speaking, Alhaji Muhammad Sidi, the Director General of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, said Nigeria has suffered a lot of natural and man-made disasters. Sidi said the unfortunate and sad development has posed numerous humanitarian challenges, calling for collaborative action to rebuild the region. The meeting was also attended by the governors of Borno, Adamawa and Yobe, as well as the deputy governors of Taraba, Gombe and Bauchi State. Others were top officials and representatives of UN agencies. Following the United Nations UN pledge to support its government of Nigeria to restore anomalies and security to the Northeast, Governor Kashim Shettima of Borno State has said that the Boko Haram terrorists no longer constitute a potent threat to Nigeria's territorial district. The governor gave the remark at the Northeast Humanitarian Stakeholders meeting organized by the federal government in Maiduguri. Some aggrieved All Progressives Congress members of the House of Representatives have expressed disappointment with the Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, for giving the oil and gas sector committees to the opposition in the sharing out of standing committees of the House. The APC legislators expressed disbelief that Dogara, a member of the APC, could hand out such key committees to the opposition in a government where his party is both the ruling party and the party with a majority in the legislature. Dogara had on Thursday last week named the chairman and deputy chairman of 96 standing committees of the House. The Speaker had given several key committees to the main opposition People's Democratic Party, including 3 oil and gas sector committees. 2 APC lawmakers have rejected the chairmanship of committees in the last 1 week to protest the development. They are former Deputy House Minority Whip Gaba Dati Mohammed and a member from Oyo State, Sunday Adepoju. Dati Mohammed observed that there was no way the APC-led federal government could effectively implement its change agenda if all the oil and gas sector committees in the parliament resided in the hands of the opposition. On his part, Adepoju said, having worked hard to wrestle power from the PDP, he did not feel it was right to empower the same PDP with the aforementioned committees. Reactions continue to trail the outcome of the governorship election petition tribunal in Rivers State and other states. Governor Nyesom Wike had his election annulled by the tribunal, while the Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has his upheld. In this report, National Assembly correspondent Jamil Afegwa sought views of some politicians on the matter.
The general elections are long gone, and all the political structures have taken or are taking shape. But for some states, the battle for electoral positions are still on. The electoral law stipulates tribunals to be set up where there are grievances, and these tribunals are just about rounding up or disposing cases. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State retained his seat following the dismissal of cases filed by 2 of his main contenders, Great Ogboru of the Labour Party and the All Progressive Congress candidates, Otega Omero. But by far the most outstanding of these tribunal cases is that of Rivers State, where Governor Nyesom Wike and 21 members of the State Assembly have also had their elections annulled. This has caused a reaction from certain political quarters.
Well, my thinking is that the tribunals are doing their job. And you know, judgment is something that is mainly technical. So if you are not in the tribunal, you may not understand what is really happening. And whoever petitions must prove before the court or before the tribunal whether his case has merit or not.
INEC itself, and I think the tribunal itself, are they sincere? Is he a ploy to sabotage the democracy that we are practicing? For us to be able to have a successful and good governance, all of us must remember that we must come collectively, regardless of our political affiliation. This issue of tribunal, tomorrow here, next tomorrow there, what are we talking about?
Allegations are rife about influences from President Muhammadu Buhari on the tribunals, as some Nigerians, especially supporters of the People's Democratic Party and supporters of the candidate themselves, claim there was influences.
The party expects the judiciary as an institution to restore its image by taking immediate measures to protect itself from political interferences, as well as ensure that needed steps are taken at the appellate levels to remedy the embarrassing ruling by some of the election petition tribunals.
Since before he was elected, he said he will make sure there is an independent judicial system and the police and other security, because he don't want any involvement in the issue of tribunals, judiciaries, and even us legislative. You can heard him when we are about to elect the speaker. He said he is not involved himself in the let us choose our speaker.
The judiciary has severally been accused of injustices where it comes to electoral petitions. But some legislators and politicians are quick to dismiss this, saying the judges are doing their jobs.
I recall very well that when the same judiciary allowed 6 of the Federal House of Representatives members' petitions in Rivers to stand, they all jubilated and praised the judiciary. Now, the same judiciary has also said that the governorship election should be rerun and has 10 houses of assembly, and they now say it is not good.
Everybody knows what has happened, particularly in Rivers State, in Akwa Ibom, and in some other few states, where violence took the center stage, and in most cases the election did not take place. Even immediately after the election, all the reports from journalists, from observers, both domestic and international observers, they were on the same page.
As the nation awaits the final developments in the electoral cases, Nigerians believe and hope that all these processes are only leading to better ways of holding elections in the country in the future. Jamil Afegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Ezonwo-Wike has declared that he has absolute confidence and respect for the judiciary to do justice in the state governorship legal tussle, pointing out that based on the April 11 election, his mandate will be upheld in the course of the appeal process. Speaking at the stakeholders meeting at the Government House, Port Harcourt, Wike advised the people of the state never to criticize judges despite the judicial setback, pointing out that the appeal process will correct the judicial opinion of the state tribunal. Governor Wike disassociated himself from a statement from one of his aides describing the tribunal judgment as judicial terrorism and gang up. He said the aide had no mandate to issue such a statement, noting that as a lawyer he respects the judiciary and knows that the appellate process will do justice in the case. Youth have taken to the street of the Imo State capital, Owerri, to celebrate the victory of the state governor, Rochas Okorocha, at the Supreme Court in the case brought by Emeka Ihedioha of the People's Democratic Party, challenging his election as the governor. The youth also say they are not only celebrating his victory, but his many achievements as governor of the state. Correspondent Ajibade Ofeso has more in the story.
Youths in their hundreds took to the streets in solidarity march, chanting pro-Rocha songs. The popular Owerri city was taken over by celebration at every corner, even in the governor's absence. The deputy chief of staff who addressed the youths at the government house premises reiterates the governor's support for the Imolites youth
the fundamental achievement of His Excellency. We can see people celebrating the infrastructural inputs of the government to the people of the state. We can see people celebrating the victory of a governor who has done so well for the people of Imo State.
Some of the youth who came around wore PDP regalia, demonstrating high level of oneness. Honorable Kingsley Uju also took time to call on all Imolites to shun politics of bitterness and embrace unity for the ultimate growth of the state.
Well, we advise our brothers and sisters in the other side of the politics, the opposition party. I will advise them to join hands and close rank with the government of the day, because this is the only means through which development and achievements of and policies of the government will be adequately guaranteed.
However, on the part of the youth, the celebration still continues, not just for victory alone, but also in appreciation to Governor Rocha's good works. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
A civil society group, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders, has called on President Muhammad Buhari to prevail on anti-graft agencies to investigate the failed 76 billion naira closed-circuit television project in the Federal Capital Territory. The group, in a statement made available by its executive chairman, Debo Adeniran, called for a thorough investigation of the project, which was initiated in 2010 by late President Umaru Yar'Adua. Adeniran said Abuja has recently come under a series of deadly attacks, and the CCTV cameras installed across the city have failed to pick up images of the perpetrators of such attacks. The statement described the project as a colossal wastage of the nation's resources and called for the prosecution of people who have illegally benefited from it. We'll take a quick break now and we'll be back with more. Stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, you don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome. Maybe just joining us is CoreTV News at 4. For more of our news and information, visit our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News, our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. You could get more on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, live space and news. The federal government has filed charges against the former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, God's Day Peter Orubebe, for alleged false declaration of assets and acceptance of about 70 million naira bribe. The 4-count charge filed on behalf of the Attorney General of the Federation by Peter Danladi of the Code of Conduct Bureau on October 8 this year is currently pending before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Already, the CCT has fixed November 9 for Orubebe's arraignment. The former minister is charged in counts 1 and 2 with failing to declare his ownership of 2 properties in Abuja. CCT's head of press and public relations, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, confirmed that a charge was pending against Orubebe before the tribunal and that the ex-minister was served with charges on October 29. He said the tribunal had scheduled Orubebe's arraignment for November 9. Abuja residents came out in droves to participate in the Walk Away Cancer Trek in commemoration of the World Cancer Week. The more than 50-kilometer walk is meant to raise awareness on the ravaging reality of the scourge and the pointer to exercise as one way of maintaining a healthy body. Organizers of the walk and wife of the Kebbi State Governor, Aisha Bagudu, says regular and early detection is a big plus for treatment and management of the disease.
They came from all walks of life for what the organizers have tagged Walk Away Cancer. This, they say, is because many Nigerians have in recent times succumbed to it. Majority of people think that cancer is a disease of the rich, but attention has also been on the women folk. This is the Walk Away Cancer Trek, and in this trek of creating awareness on the realities of cancer, the focus is on breast cancer, mammogram, and cervical cancer. But is cancer really a female thing?
Cancer affects men, women. Agreed, 50% of the cancer that occurs in Nigeria is in women. That is breast and cervical cancer.
Over 4 million albinos are all susceptible to skin cancer. Our own death is almost triple that number that you're giving me.
The death rate due to cancer is alarming, and there are concerns about the near lack of cure and the medical human capacity and equipment to handle patients in the country. This vacuum has resulted in huge revenue loss in medical tourism to countries like India and the United States, where Nigerians seek treatment.
Our resources, both in terms of human and other resources, are not yet developed to the stage that could cope with the scourge of cancer.
The centers, the treatment centers, and the centers that have the linear accelerators that can give radiotherapy in Nigeria are limited. We're supposed to have 11 of such centers. Right now, only one is working on and off.
The albinos, their treatment have been discontinued. As a matter of fact, as we speak, there's one of them who is dying at the National Hospital. He will not be treated.
Though records say 10 people die from cancer every hour, experts say there is hope if regular checks are done. Here again, the cost of such screenings are exaggerated and screening ignored.
You can screen yourself. There are different stages of screening. The first stage is the one you do yourself. You know that what is normal in your body. And so we advise you to check your body at least once a month. I'm not just talking about breast examinations. Everything. If your periods are heavier, if they are lighter, if it's a man, if you're urinating more frequently, or you feel that you go to urinate, all these are screening methods. They're symptoms. I agree that some of these tests are expensive.
Have you done cancer screening before?
Yes, severally, annually.
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
I've not really had the opportunity to, but definitely after this it's an awareness program. So after this, I don't need to waste time to go and do it. And I advise every woman out there to go out and do her own screening.
October is set aside globally as Cancer Awareness Month. And the message from organizers and participants is that the earlier cancer screening is done, the better. Helen Chukwuwike, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria has advised Nigerians to stop patronizing quacks for building and construction jobs to avoid incidents of collapsed buildings and failed road projects. The inspection officer of Koren in Kogi State, Daniel Adowen, gave the advice when he inspected the 16-kilometer Ganaja-Otoki village bypass road. The road has been constructed by the Kogi State government to open up the state capital. Adowen said the incidents of collapsed buildings in Nigeria in recent times can be traced to the use of quacks instead of professionals who were conscious of the demand on their profession. He noted that irregular practice and contract will impact negatively on the finished project as quality will be compromised. The Korean official described a situation where a petroleum engineer is recruited as a supervisor in a building or road project, while a civil engineer gets the work of structural design as highly irregular. He, however, said the story in the industry is not all bad, as there were trained Nigerian engineers who were living up to expectation. Tragedy struck when the portion of a 3-story building, which is under construction on Sapele Road in Benin, the Edo State capital, collapsed, killing one person and injuring 3 others. It was gathered that the incident occurred about 10:30 a.m. Report has it that victims were pouring concrete on the cantilever projection on the 3rd floor when the formwork caved in. It was learned that they were hired by a contractor to do the 2-day job at 3,000 naira per day. The deceased, identified as Mike, sustained a deep cut in his chest when he and his colleague fell from the 3rd floor to the ground. He was said to have been rushed to the Central Hospital in Benin, where he was confirmed dead. One of the victims, and a graduate of the mechanical engineering from the University of Benin, Sunday Onivuza, said he was lucky to have survived. The subcontractor and supervisor, Maurice Omorege, who said the formwork had been prepared by a different contractor, said the remains of the deceased had been deposited in a mortuary, while those injured are still receiving treatment. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with stories from outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome. And on the foreign scene, at least 12 people were killed today as Al-Shabaab militant stormed the hotel in Mogadishu, capital of Somalia, police and witnesses said. Police officer Mohammed Hassan said a car bomb hit the gate of Sahafi Hotel and then several gunmen stormed in. Another police officer, Ahmed Ali, said a few politicians and MPs were inside the hotel when the attack took place. He revealed that former Army Chief of Staff of Somali government, Abdul Karim Degar Badan, and the owner of the hotel, Abdul Rashid Il Takiet, are also among the dead people. Ahmed said another car bomb exploded near the hotel minutes after the first attack, killing a number of civilians, politicians, MPs and senior government officials often visit the famous hotel of Sahafi at busy junction of Kilometer 4 central of the capital. Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack. Flags flew off half-past mast in Russia Sunday as the country mourned its biggest ever air disaster after a passenger jet full of Russian tourists crashed into Egypt, killing at least 224 people on board. The flight was bringing holiday makers back to Russia's second largest city, St. Petersburg, when it went down in Egypt, with international experts now at the scene trying to discover the cause of the tragedy. Flags were at half-mast on the Parliament building, in the Kremlin, and on other official buildings in honor of the victims, most of whom were from St. Petersburg and its surrounding region. Authorities set up a crisis center at a hotel near the airport where relatives of the victims were invited to provide DNA samples, and psychologists were on call. Turkey is heading to polls for a second time in 5 months amid instability spilling over from neighboring Syria and renewed tensions over the 30-year-old Kurdish conflict. More than 54 million people are registered to vote at 175,000 stations on Sunday between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. in the eastern province of Turkey and 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. in the western ones. The June 7 elections had seen the Social Conservative Justice and Development Party, aka Party, lose its 13-year single-party rule, but 4 political parties that made their way to the parliament failed to produce a coalition government and snap elections were called. In the June polls, the AK party secured 258 seats in the 550-seat House, losing many of the People's Democratic Party, which achieved unprecedented success for a pro-Kurdish party for getting 80 seats. And it's a wrap on CoreTV News at 4. Thank you so very much for joining us. My name is Omotayo Alo. Bye for now.